Your voice.
Your station. Let's walk the talk.
702 Summer.
All right, at this hour on a Monday, we try have a conversation on the stories that are making headlines, what news stories you should be aware of. Yesterday in the City Press, an interesting headline. It says, constitutional crackdown. Treasury cuts funding to 75 municipalities. And Northwest bears the brunt, with 15 municipalities facing fund cuts for persistent financial violations. Treasury demands a 75% reduction in wasteful expenditure and proper disciplinary boards established within 14 days. Constitution Section 216, powers deployed for the first time against municipalities owing SARS and pension funds. Now, while this does sound rather technical, the long and short of it is that municipalities in the Northwest and many others that have been highlighted and cited by Treasury are just not delivering. In fact, they are using their finances and funds, improperly, and it is affecting service delivery. This article says, according to a letter seen by the City Press, 5 more municipalities are also on the brink of joining the 75, and this rather dramatic intervention affects these municipalities, with this month's payments hanging in the balance as Treasury demands immediate corrective action. Now, these are experiences that have been, felt by people on the ground, the lack of water, and other challenges there. These municipalities just not showing up. Now, the final list is not out, but we understand, according to the City Press, it says the one of the 5 that is yet to receive their second and final warning letter includes Machabeng in the Free State. And National Treasury raised serious concerns that these municipalities had violated the Municipal Financial Management Act. And this has prompted Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Belinkosini Hlabisa to write to various provincial CoGTA or Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs members, raising his concerns about the severity of municipal non-compliance. And in that letter, it says, I'm writing to you as a member of the Executive Council responsible for local government to bring to your attention significant and ongoing concerns regarding the performance and implementation of the municipal infrastructure grants, related matters among certain municipalities in the Free State. That's the one that went to Machabeng, I believe. And he said the primary purpose of these grants, as provided for, was to provide basic infrastructure services to poor communities, address backlogs, and stimulate local economic development. However, that has not been happening, and as a result, Treasury is making this move. So the municipalities have been told to make take corrective measures, including setting up committees. They call it corrective action. And these need to almost detail a plan for how the municipality is going to turn its finances around. And Treasury officials have made it clear, that's according to the City Press, that constitutional provision will be used without hesitation against municipalities that continue to flout financial regulations. So these are being placed under administration. And I think it's an important story to highlight, because Treasury is intervening here, but these municipalities just keep getting worse. According to this article, it says even district municipalities have not escaped scrutiny. So the Ngaka Mudiri Mulema municipality and the Dr. Ruth Kgomotso Modise district also face potential fund cuts, as well as the Moses Kodane Morelete, and Morelete completes what amounts to a wholesale indictment of financial management in the province. So what are your thoughts on that? And do you live in those areas, in those municipalities, or do you have family and relatives there? What's the reality on the ground? What are you experiencing every day? And this move now by Treasury, which basically means that the municipality will not have a hold on its own finances. They cannot make their financial decisions themselves. They will now have to, National Treasury will almost take over that function because of the poor management and the poor cash flow. My fear when these things happen is that, municipalities having the function of taking care of its finances is to make things easy, simpler, right? And not having to go to National Treasury every time the local municipality or the municipality wants to do something, right? It's a function that allows the municipalities to manage themselves and to meet its basic needs, or the needs of the people. However, when Treasury has to intervene, it speaks to just how poorly these municipalities are being run. And it's the people that are experiencing this. It's the people that have to live in a reality where there's poor infrastructure, even though the finances are there. You know, I was looking at the Auditor General's report, and in some of these areas, it's not that the finances are not there. In some of these situations, the money is even returned back to National Treasury unused, but the realities of the people on the ground say it should be used. It's just not being spent in the right way. And so this is a really important story, and I do hope that CoGTA will be able to come back. They have promised to speak to us tomorrow. So this is the Cooperative Governance Department in the Northwest in particular, because they are the ones that are mostly affected by this. They have promised to come, and I think we need to hear from them how this move is going to affect service delivery. I am guessing that while it's meant to cushion or it's meant to better the situation, so what it's meant to do is to make sure that the money is being used correctly. So it's a measure that's put in place to, buffer and to make sure that there isn't this wasteful spending. But I do think that it does make things a little tougher. I suppose it's a necessary intervention when money is being spent poorly. Jeff, you're in Alex, and you want to speak about the service delivery in the Northwest. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, how are you, man?
I'm good. Go ahead.
I've got a problem with the municipality that's called Madibeng, and I don't know why it's not on that list. My sister, I'm going to be honest with you, and I know the previous premier that I forget he went to Parliament. He was around 2016. He was a premier there in Northwest. Hot 35 in Madibeng. Yeah. Since the ANC government took over, those people, they never had water till today.
Sure.
Since 1994, when the current administration came in, and then when Mangope have to absorb from the power, then ANC, they had water before ANC. Because of the clever councillors, they come, comrades, there's a project, you can change this water. People of Hot 35, they mustn't get water from Mabopane direction, they must get water from Madibe. That was there until today. My sister, I went to the Northwest over the weekend. Currently now, I'm on my way to go and change my wheels. The potholes, it's a problem. There's no road. And I'm going to talk about the Ward 35 because of my parents are there. They are there. Imagine if Ugogo have to take its money to go and buy water. People are celebrating Christmas, but people, they don't have water.
Yeah. And what do they do for water, Jeff? So do they buy?
They buy, ma'am. Normally, when I'm going home, I have to make sure there's a budget for the water because of they don't have a choice. But still, I always complain about why they kept on voting for the same party. The very, very same party. They're voting. That's the problem. But they don't have water. They don't have clinic. Our clinic, when you go there, there's no medication. It's only the Panado. Ask yourself. Now we've got the government that they're claiming that they're doing for the people. They're not. The only what hurts me is people of Hot 35, they had water before the ANC government. Even Menomvula Mukonyan, I remember it was the other election. She was there. I told her. She said no, they were going to do something till today. It's more than 15 years now.
Sure.
But Northwest, Mama, for me, I feel sorry for them. And apparently, the Minister of Electricity was saying, no, load reduction, there's no load reduction. On the 31st, they want to have a load reduction from 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock. But the minister is talking something different. You see, I was communicating with my colleague, from now on, I'm starting to hate the politicians because of they are misleading the community on the ground. It's very painful, man.
Sure.
And more especially Northwest, they are the ones who are more affected.
Yeah. Jeff, thank you so much for your call. I think what you're saying... Yes?
And God bless you, and Merry Christmas to everybody, but not to the politicians.
Hey, Jeff, you know what? I can't fault you. I can't fault you.
I'm angry.
Yeah, I can't fault you, and I can't say, don't say that, because this is your experience, it's your lived experience. And it's easy for us to speak that don't have those situations, and wherever we're from.
Exactly. If you drive from Hebron to Komabolo, there's no road. We have to drive on a gravel road. There's no road.
Yo.
And it's not like because of now it's raining. It's been like that for ages. And I'm happy the president is going to Rustenburg. He must drive through Brett Town and go and see what is happening there with the potholes.
Hey, and maybe what happened with Johannesburg. Remember when the president said he took the wrong off-ramp? Remember that story?
Yes, I remember, yes.
He took the wrong off-ramp in Johannesburg, and then he realized that, things are so bad.
Exactly.
Only when he took that off-ramp did he realize. Hopefully when he drives there, he will have an aha moment and realize how bad things are.
No, thank you, ma'am.
All right. Jeff and Alexandra, speaking about the Northwest service delivery issue. Remember that story? Remember when the president said, he didn't realize just how bad things are in Johannesburg, and only when he took that wrong off-ramp on one day by chance, let's thank the mistaken off-ramp, because only then did he realize. Then we had some work being done. Of course, it wasn't just the G20. It was because he realized just how terrible things are. Listen, the president and politicians make rounds every other year when they prepare for elections, but nothing happens. You're telling me that the people in power and the premier that he's speaking about, Kisupra Mahumapelo, you're telling me that those in power don't realize? They don't know that there's no water? They must go and experience it themselves for them to know? That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Thabo, you're in the Northwest. Good morning. Thank you for your call.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Kgomotso.
Hello, Abuti. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Northwest is terrible. It's actually a disaster. You drive through Northwest, there's barely decent roads, just potholes left and right. If you just drive, there's a route that takes you to Mabiskral from Rustenburg past Lidach. The potholes, people will be driving opposite directions. You just wonder if politicians or those in power, they literally fly in their cars. If they never get to see these potholes that you have to, it's literally, like a meter wide potholes.
And Thabo, when it's raised, is this something that's ever raised? And I know it's difficult because where do you go, right? But what are they saying?
It is raised. There's committees, community committees that have been set up for roads. You go to villages like Matau. You can remember as well.
Yeah, your line is not great, Thabo. Please just move around.
Northwest roads. It was terrible for a president driving into a province. He realizes that the roads are as worst as anything, and he makes a joke about it instead of, saying, this is unacceptable. I have to check who is responsible and make sure that we get this done. It will take us years to get those roads fixed. I don't know where to start, actually. You wonder if there's any budget that is allocated for that on a yearly basis. It's terrible.
Yeah, there should be. But according to this article and according to what we've seen previously and reports that we know, it's being misused. The budget is
I can believe the report. Northwest, it's terrible. It's not only the roads. The water. People have to do boreholes that will cost between, 40,000, 60,000 a household that, doesn't even match that kind of an income.
Thabo, thank you so much for your call. I can hear the frustration. Whenever you speak about service delivery issues, the frustration in people's voices and how they feel the realities of their lives, it just comes out. And quite frankly, we cannot say that those in power don't know. We can't say they don't know. They know very well what's going on. And I suppose that's why we try hold them accountable. But does anything change? I'm not so sure. We're speaking about that move by Treasury cutting funding to 75 failing municipalities. These are municipalities that have alarming rates of wasteful expenditure. And we actually thought to give Wayne Duvenage from Outer a call. He joins us now on the line. Wayne, good morning. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning. Nice to be with you and the listeners in this restful period, but stressful for many, aren't you?
Absolutely. Many people having this experience, a horrible experience in the Northwest, but also in the Free State. This move by Treasury, Wayne, what can we make of it? I mean, I understand that it's to move the responsibility of managing the finances in these municipalities to Treasury. And I suppose you feel that it's long overdue.
Yeah, look, they've been threatening to do this for some time. Municipalities get a lot of funding from Treasury. This is grant funding. And with this mismanagement of their finances and wasteful expenditure, Treasury is now finally putting its foot down. And we believe this should have happened a long time ago because, sadly, the electorate isn't doing what they should be doing, which is really vote for change. But until that happens, we can't allow these municipalities to continue to fail. So they will now feel the pressure. And sadly, it is the people in those towns that are going to feel the pressure more than anybody. But it's, I guess it's the pain before you get the repair that is required.
And I mean, am I correct in my analysis that this means that this is going to be an extra step now for the municipalities to gain access to their finances for whatever they need to do? So ordinarily they would have, access to quote unquote a kitty internally where they can get things done, but now they need to approach Treasury, which might mean more time to get things done.
Well, yeah. So what happens is they raise their own funds from their income generated by their own rates and taxes, sale of electricity and water. And then there's grant funding, especially for the indigent populations to electrify, to build water infrastructure and so forth. Now, that funding is not going to come through. So what happens is the municipality is going to be very tight. They're not going to have sufficient funds to run those municipalities. And what this then does is forces them to tighten their belts. It forces them to stop wasting money. It forces them to report to Treasury on exactly what they're doing. And as you can see, Treasury's conditions are, you need to put boards in place. You need to have oversights now. You need to show us what action plans, what meaningful action plans you're putting in place in order to circumvent the financial mismanagement and woes that they have. And I guess, Treasury is there to also help. And if the municipality seriously is going to require help and want this help and put in place these measures, then I believe Treasury will start releasing those funds. So they want to see action before they release funds. Because in the past, the municipalities were saying, yes, we'll do this, we'll fix up, and they don't. So now they want to see the real action taking place.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we've seen municipalities being placed under administration before, then things just go back to normal, so to speak.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I mean, Mfuleni's been placed under administration 5 times. I think it's probably been under administration for the last 20 years and nothing's changed there. So we can't just have the administration process. We need proper leadership and consequences and accountability. And hopefully Treasury's move now is going to be in the right direction.
Yep. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Wayne Duvenage. All right, he's from Outer, the organization Undoing Tax Abuse. And we thought we should have a bit of a conversation with him because this is the space that Outer operates in as well. And I think, at this time of the year, you expect people to want to relax, to want to go home. But I can't imagine myself having to go home and factor in money for tires. There's a caller that said he has to go and replace his tires now. You almost know that you must have budget for tires because the roads are a mess. You almost know that you must have money to give to your family members to buy water because there's just no water. And then you say people must have a Merry Christmas, have a happy holidays, enjoy the festive season. Where? Someone here saying, good morning. The president's wife is from Makau in the Northwest. And the family usually gathers there during this time, including Patrice Motsepe. Oh, so you can't tell us they don't know what's going on in Madibeng. It's sad. And that's Munkwe from Mabupan. Hey, thank you for that information. I mean, I'd imagine if he's from the North, if he's got family in the Northwest now by marriage, he would know. But also, this is not the first time that the president is going to the Northwest. It's not the first time that they're going there. He goes there and he goes around the country all the time. For me, it's always the shock. He's just always so shocked. Let's take a voice note.
Hi, Kgomotso. In Northwest, municipalities like Moses Kotane municipality, where I'm coming from, are villages. Most areas there are villages, and are villages that are divided into wards. So people are not being given education about IDP, that side. So even when there is no service delivery, it's normalized. Like, people can't differentiate between service delivery and their normal way of living. So in that way, the comrades and every politician now gets to put their hands on the money however the way they like, because there won't be any complaints because people are not educated enough about IDPs and service deliveries and all those things. So that's the thing. In those areas, it's just villages and people are illiterate. Kgotso from Naledi.
Kgotso, thank you so much for your voice note. I'm refusing to believe that it's just a literacy issue. I also think that there's where people just don't want to change the situation. If you keep voting for the same people, you're told that vote, and when you keep voting for the people that are not giving you what they're saying they're going to give you, how do we help you? What amount of voter education is going to make you realize that these people haven't been giving you what they've promised you for ages? What makes you think they're going to give it to you this time? Is that a literacy thing? I don't know. Maybe I'm downplaying the literacy challenges in the rural areas, and in many villages. Maybe I am, but I do think that people are not dumb. People know, they can see that you said you were going to do this, and it's been 4, 5, 10 years, and you didn't do it. But for some reason, we keep voting for the same people. I think we need to ask ourselves what's going on and why.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, 702. Good morning, ma'am. Anonymous here. I would like to understand how come Emfuleni municipality is not amongst those, because that is one of the worst performing municipalities in the country. It is known, it is a fact. Thank you.
Hi, Kgomotso and the team. My question is, why can't we put these failing municipalities under administration? Because cutting funding won't solve the problem of service delivery, since some of these failing municipalities has ratepayers, but those ratepayers are not getting anything in return. David.
Good morning to you, Kgomotso Modise. Regarding Northwest with the potholes, I drove that side of Vapung the other day. It was like, I don't know, the roads are so, it's not even the potholes now. It's just a dish. See, I think Northwest, we call it now, to change the name to call it Province of Potholes, Northwest.
Yeah. Hey, that's a reality that many are experiencing. I've experienced it driving to the Northwest, driving to Mahikeng, and I can tell you that your car is not safe. But on the question around the placing under administration, I'm going to join it with the question around Emfuleni, because Emfuleni has been placed under administration how many times? They've been under administration so many times, and nothing changes. As Wayne Duvenage said from Outer, things just get back to normal. It seems to me, and I hope that once we have cooperative governance on the show, maybe even a national representative, they can explain this to us, because it seems to me the bar to meet for the municipalities is really low. So the municipalities, yes, will be placed under administration, but then nothing changes, nothing happens, and then before we know it, things are back to normal. But also in this instance, what worries me, so the cutting of funding, as it were, and what will happen now, which basically means that the municipality must now approach National Treasury for everything, which is similar to what happens when they're placed under administration. I don't think that this benefits the people. I think it will frustrate the municipality, because now they don't have a kitty. They don't have that little squama, so to speak, to go and dip into and do their business, right? It means every time you want to do something, you want to fix a pothole, you need to go to National Treasury. Every time you want to change something, you need to go to National Treasury. And that's not functional. But the idea is you don't know how to manage the funds, so let's manage them for you. Now, I'm not sure if Mfuleni is not on this list. I think that, in the article, I didn't see it, but I don't think that what's been cited in the City Press article is exhaustive. I think that there are many other municipalities. It says 75, and not all 75 were highlighted here. Also, according to this article, there are 5 more that run the risk of being added onto the list. Mfuleni may be on the list, but it's just one of the municipalities that we've seen just placing them in administration does nothing. And I think at some point the tap needs to run dry. Municipalities have just been allowed to run amok, so to speak, and do as they please. And I think that it might help. I just feel very, very bad for the people.
Relax this summer
with podcasts from your favorite shows
on primemediaplus.com.
Hi, Kgomotso. This is Mandy from Brackenhurst. It's just terrible how these potholes are affecting everybody. Just in the last week, I've had 2 blowouts, 2 front tires from potholes in suburban area around us. That is costing me a fortune to get fixed. And it's just crazy that nothing is being done about it. Everybody complains, nothing gets done about it. I just think the only way we're going to sort this out is if someone like Outer or someone takes on this cause and communities stop paying their rates and taxes until they sort out these issues, so we can pay money into a separate account or something where they can use that to actually sort out our issues. It obviously will never work with just one person or a few people doing it. It needs to be done by a whole lot of people, because only then will they actually take notice when salaries aren't being paid and things aren't being paid. Because other than that, nothing gets done. It's absolutely shocking.
Sure, Mandy. I share in your frustration. On my route to work, I have stopped using CR Swart. So the people that live in that area, that live in the Bosgrain area in Randburg, are very familiar with CR Swart. I've stopped using CR Swart because my car cannot take it. I can't keep driving into potholes, and every other day I'm going to repair a damaged rim. I'm going to repair my tires. I just can't. But I've been patiently waiting for someone to fix CR Swart. I've been waiting, and I've been every now and again I go and I drive there just to see if anything's changed, and I can tell you it's become worse. So don't get me started when it comes to the pothole issue. It is a problem everywhere. And I do think that it's the lack of political will, because if we were able to do it during G20, particularly in Johannesburg, if it was possible during G20, then it should definitely be possible all year round. We're able to do it. We are capable. I feel that it seems as though those in power need a reason to serve the people. And that's the problem. Because they shouldn't need any reason. It's their job. They should do it without requiring us to do something for them to do it. There shouldn't be an event, a party, something. It should be done because it's your job. But I'm seeing many of your voice notes and your WhatsApp, someone saying, it's simple, you get what you vote for. That's true. It's true. People need to understand that they do get what they vote for. Of course, that's in response to the voice note, someone speaking about how there's a literacy issue in the villages. If you're from the village or you have family in the village, please just let us know. Get in touch with us. We're taking your call, 011-883-0702. Is it just a literacy issue? Because I think there's more to this. I think the people, even in the village, while maybe they might not be the most literate, I do think that they're able to see when something was promised and it doesn't get done. But also, this is not a problem of just the villages. I mean, we know even in urban areas, that doesn't stop people from voting for who they want to vote for. They will vote even though they know what's going to happen. I think that's very, very sad. Someone here saying, Kgomotso, we are replacing hungry, gullible politicians with another one, hence nothing changes. National Parliament MPs voted to keep that the same, not reduce it. We're still paying a prepaid fee, and that's from Sipo. But also, just a response to the second part of Mandy's voice note that I just played. You know, things seem great. So I'm very wary of having systems outside of the official system, even though it's failing us. Because what's going to happen is we're going to take our money, put it somewhere, and someone decides they're just going to have access to it. Who do we hold accountable in instances like that? You know, right now as things stand, we can hold government accountable and we can punish them at the polls. But if we put our money in a different, account and we say we're going to do things ourselves and then things go horribly bad, which happens 9 times out of 10, who do we hold accountable? Also, I'm not sure telling people not to pay their municipal bill is the way. I think that we need to punish the politicians where it hurts worse at most, and that is at the polls. It's at the polls. Only then do people learn. I'm not sure saying, give me the money. Kgomotso, let's say I say, come give me the money, I will fix your roads. And then I run away. We've seen it happen with Stockfells. We put money in an account. We say, no, listen, we've got signatories. And it collapses and it fails horribly. I don't know. I'm not sure that's the way to go. But I do think that the fact that you're even saying this speaks to the frustration that's experienced by many. And I don't think that the system doesn't work. I think it's us, the people, who don't use the system to favor us. The system is clear. Do the work that you promised to do, or you're out. The problem is, we don't take them out.
Hi, Kgomotso. My name is Lucky from Palm Springs, south of Joburg. That Mfuleni municipality, I don't know what is the provincial government waiting for. Those guys need to be fired, all of them. I'm staying under that municipality. Nothing is happening for the past 25 years. The audit there is terrible. Even their ward councillors, if you ask them a question about the administration, they can't give you even a report from the administrator. So it's really a problem to have a municipality like this one.
A few months ago, just ahead of the last elections that we had, I visited Mfuleni, and there was a pothole so big that it was coined a swimming pool. I just need to remember the place in particular, but it was coined a swimming pool, and the kids would actually go there and swim in the pothole. There were pictures of it, of people swimming there, and I mean, the cars were driving around the swimming pool. It's also called the dam. It was also called the dam. I just need to remember what the place is. But I remember being there, just thinking, people don't know what more to do. They don't know what else to do. So we must just, make use of it. The kids want to swim, let them. I mean, it's so heartbreaking that things have gotten so bad, that children can jump in a pothole and their whole bodies can be submerged. They can be inside there. They can be immersed all the way to their neck. There's a problem. I was counting the number of illegal dumping sites, or just the small puddles on the small, there's trash on every corner, right? And I was counting how many of those I could count as I was driving. I think it's called, what's it called? That main road into Orange Farm, and then you drive all the way down to the Val. I think it's called the Orange, what's it called? The Golden Highway. The Golden Highway, yes. Driving down the Golden Highway, I was counting all the little, the heaps, yes, the heaps of trash and garbage on each corner. And I can tell you now that I just kept on counting. There's a problem, and we need to be frank about it. Professor Susan Goldstein, you're in Northcliffe, and you want to weigh in on the municipalities. Good morning.
Good morning. I was just wanting to say in the Northwest in particular, I was recently at the Pilanesberg, and I mean, that's a national treasure. That is a huge magnet for tourism and can create huge jobs. There's a camp in the park. First of all, the park is just, the roads are so terrible, but there's a camp in the park that has been burnt down and nobody's done anything about fixing it up for years, literally years. And I kind of think to myself, those are jobs. There are people living right around next to the park who could get employed. So that's the one aspect. But when you talk about litter, thinking about schools, you can walk into a school and there's litter all over the place. How are people not being taught at school to pick up their own litter?
I'm trying to think back, Prof. I mean, when I was in school, we even had little litter songs, songs.
Yes, and we had days that we had to go and clean up the yard. That's what I remember.
I think that the deterioration is so bad, and I think people are experiencing this, outside of school so much that even in the schools, it's just, it's become the norm.
Can't cope. It's crazy.
Unfortunately.
But it's not only the municipalities. The municipalities are terrible. And shocking that anybody is without water these days.
Yeah.
But also the litter is also up to us as individuals, as families, teaching our children not to throw stuff out the car.
Absolutely. Yeah. Professor Susan, thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay.
All right. That's Prof. Goldstein there in Northcliffe giving us a call on the municipality issue. Of course, this is on the back of that move by National Treasury cutting funding to 75 failing municipalities. Mfuleni is one that keeps featuring quite a bit, and I think people that live there experience the horror of living there. And I was actually struggling to find the words. Yes, it's the heaps of garbage that's on each corner. In Mfuleni, where it's just, there's a waste collection crisis. And then, as if that's not enough, it's the potholes, that big pothole that I saw there, and I covered the story there. And then there's the infrastructure. So there was a licensing department that was meant to be built there, and it just never got built. The building it's unfinished, and no one's doing anything about it. Truly, truly shocking. And I don't know if we know now that placing them under administration is not working. So maybe this next step might be, best. I don't know. Treasury cutting funding. That means Treasury is going to have to baby these municipalities and say, oh, you need money for what? How much? Let me give it to you. You need money for what? How much? That's going to frustrate the municipalities. Maybe they need the frustration. Maybe they need the wake-up call. It's going to force them to tighten their belts. But also, it's going to mean that the turnaround time for service delivery is really going to be a problem. Let's take some voice notes.
Kgomotso, I just want to touch on the issue of rural voters and lack of voter education there. For some people, I know one listener raised this issue. For some people who are well astute, you might take it for granted. I can tell you from experience, people in rural areas are even afraid to vote out the current government because they are afraid of losing their grants. They are afraid of losing their RDPs because they've been indoctrinated that these are ANC issued things, So removing ANC would then equate to them being removed out of those. So voter education is crucial, especially in rural areas. Thank you, Zwelin Krugerstop.
Yeah, I've heard that sentiment before, the fact that we don't want to rock the boat because we'll lose our grants, In fact, I've even heard people saying that they were told, and this is the amount of misinformation that goes around. I've heard people who were voting saying that they were told that if they don't vote for the ANC, then they were NSFAS beneficiaries. And they said that they get checked on the system to see who you voted for. And if they don't vote for the ANC, then they will lose their NSFAS. That's something I've heard on the ground from some students. And they felt they must, vote. So yes, the voter education it's very, very, very important. Of course, we're speaking about the challenges in local municipalities. Someone here is saying, Kgomotso, talking about the issue of illegal dumping is a major problem in our societies. Cosmo City is worse. Absolutely. I have seen Cosmo City and I've driven past, and it's very, very concerning, especially because Cosmo City is a newer development. You'd expect things to be better there because it's a newer development. But you drive even on the outskirts, but even through, is it South Africa Drive? And, it's very, very shocking. As someone saying, people were severely punished at the polls, but check where we ended. A GNU with the same party still messing up hugely. Oh, yeah. We're taking your voice notes and your calls right here on the 702. This is the Clemet Manyathela show. My name is Kgomotso Modise, and we're speaking about Treasury's decision to cut funding to 75 failing municipalities. Let's take some voice notes.
Hi, Kgomotso. Good morning. We have got a problem of duplicates in South African government. You have got national government, provincial, district, and municipalities, and local municipalities.
Yeah.
So why can't we reduce some of these things? So that my argument at some point with some politician, it was to say, look, the local municipalities, the one that brings service to the people on the ground. But what does the district do? Because they fail in a lot of things. I know of one in Limpopo called the Mopani district. Go and see it there. You'll be shocked. So why can't we do away with some of these? Do away with provincial government, do away with district municipalities, and then the local municipalities must go directly to national government. We need to deal with these things.
Listen, that sentiment, Yahao Abuti, he's basically speaking about the situation in the Northwest and echoing the sentiments that have been shared by many, including the very first caller that we had about the challenges in the Northwest. And I think that, this speaks to what I was saying earlier, that while this decision is going to be affecting a number of municipalities, the Northwest in particular needs to come forward, and we need to have a conversation with the cooperative governance department there, because they seem to be a recurring problem. And the fact that so many people in parts of the Northwest, we're hearing people, he's in Schweizer Renaka, there's other people in Blanisberg, there's other people in Koster. I mean, there's people in so many parts of the Northwest that are having the same experience. That says to me the entire province is on the verge of collapse. And if it's not, I need the cooperative governance department to come and tell us. Because it cannot be that the residents of the Northwest in so many parts, someone spoke about Garankuwa. I think Garankuwa is also part, is it? Or is it Tshwane? Is Garankuwa Tshwane? But, so many people in parts in the outskirts of the Northwest having experiences. I know even in an area called Klipgat, which is also in the Northwest, they too have these water problems. They don't have roads in Klipgat. It's just the main roads. Now, the Northwest needs to come forward. We need to have a conversation with them. This is absolutely unacceptable. And I'm hoping that we'll have the Cooperative Governance Department coming forward tomorrow to speak to us. Silo, you're in Koster in the Northwest. Good morning. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Kgomotso. How are you?
I'm okay, Silo. Please, what's your comment?
Your Northwest is nothing works province, like they normally say. As I speak to you now, we don't have water. We don't have proper roads inside the location. There's nothing that is happening. And as I speak to you, there's a tournament at our local soccer stadium.
Yeah.
It shows that we don't have councillors, we don't have mayors. We only have a mayor that can organize tournaments for mayoral cups. As I talk to you, where I'm staying, there is a dam that is not secured. And that dam is posing danger to young kids. We had, if I'm not mistaken, 2 drowns at that dam.
Yeah.
It's not secured, and people are next to it. There is a big hole that was dug by a guy who was making bricks. That hole is not secured. That hole was supposed to be used as a dumping site. But when they dump the refuse, they don't dump the refuse inside that hole. They dump the refuse next to that road. I don't know why we have people like this who don't care about us. As I speak to you, there is a white guy who passed here, resurfacing the road because this road his cars are passing here is damaging his cars. Then he decided on himself to come and resurface the road. And we have the municipality that is not doing anything.
You know what, Salo, and to all the listeners who are calling from the Northwest or having experienced the Northwest, we have received communication from the Cooperative Governance Department that they are promising to come. Is it next? Okay, so my producers are saying it's next week and not tomorrow. And I will be here next week. And we are going to have this conversation with them. And I hope that many of you with your concerns will be able to raise them while we have them on the line. Because while this decision and this move does seem a little drastic, it's not. It's not. At the heart of the problem here are people's lives. And we cannot continue moving as though lives don't matter. People's lives are being affected every day. People are drowning. There's been people who fall into that dam that I was speaking about earlier on, that pothole, the biggest pothole. It's unacceptable. Bulali, you're in Soshanguve. Good evening. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Please go ahead. Yes.
Yes. Look, I think it is high time that they employ people with grade 7.
Grade 7.
Because those with BAs, B this.
Hey.
They're just on top there to get a fat check at the end of the month.
Mm.
You see? Let me give you an example. Here in Soshanguve, our graveyard was getting full. Nobody did something about it.
Yeah.
Until we had to bury people in Klepgat, and we had to bury people in Lady Selborne there in Sanfontein. You know? Because somebody on top with a BA, a BCom, a BSc, a BWAC was sleeping, not doing his job, you see? So I think it's high time they employ people with grade 7 for this position. Thank you.
Bulali in Soshanguve, they're frustrated with our educated leaders whose education does nothing for us, because it really does absolutely nothing for us. We'll continue with this conversation, and we're hoping to have officials from the Northwest on the show next week.